Hi students, how are you all? Hope you all are safe at home. Stay home, stay safe. Let us begin with our English class. Class 12 English class. At the very beginning, we are going to deal with the chapter Deep Water written by William Douglas. Before coming to the chapter, I would like to tell you something. Failure will never overtake me if my determination for success is very strong. This quotation has very much to do with this chapter. It is very much related with the chapter, the Deep Water. Deep Water, he recounts, in Deep Water, William Douglas recounts the childhood experience of conquering fear. The incident that happened in a swimming pool, in a YMCA swimming pool, and how he gradually overcome the fear of water. Through the story, the narrator wants to convey a very important message. That is if you are determined, a person with a strong willpower and determination will overcome all the obstacles in his life. That is what Douglas proved through this chapter. Now let us see the chapter in detail. Written by William Douglas. An overview about the author. An overview. Deep Water is an excerpt from William Douglas' autobiography of Men and Mountains. It is a psychological analysis of author's fear of water which plagued him since his childhood. As a young boy, Douglas had certain experiences which crippled him to such an extent that he was unable to enjoy any water-related sport. An overview. The story describes in detail how Douglas dealt with his fear, which was becoming a debilitating phobia. It talks of his conscious and deliberate attempt to conquer his fear of water. It realistically describes how Douglas used his willpower and determination to defeat Mr. Terror. About the author. William Douglas was born in Maine, Minnesota. He lost his father when he was only 6. His mother faced great hardships in raising him. Being afflicted by polio in his youth, he took to hiking to strengthen his legs. He later reported this to be the source of his long life love for the outdoors. He taught for 2 years in a high school in Yakima, but soon realized that the profession was not for him, so he decided to pursue a career in law. Douglas chanced to meet Franklin D. Roosevelt and became a friend and advisor to him. He was a leading advocate of individual rights. He served as an Assistant Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. His tenure, which lasted for 36 years, earned him the distinction of being the longest-serving justice in the history of the Supreme Court. Douglas wished to be remembered as an active environmentalist. To commemorate his contribution to environment, a popular walking trail in Washington has been named William Douglas National Park. Deep Water. The story gives a vivid description of his fear of water and how he overcame it. The incident happened when the author was 10 or 11 years old. He had decided to learn to swim. There was a pool at the YMCA in Yakima that offered exactly the opportunity. His mother would continually remind him that the Yakima River was very dangerous, as many people drowned in it, and to stay away from it. That is the reason why he has joined the YMCA pool. He joined the swimming classes. He felt that the swimming pool was safer as it was not very deep, and the slope from the shallow end to the deep one was gradual. He started learning his lessons there. Earlier, he was very shy to wear the swimming suit and show his skinny legs. Gradually, he overcame all those things and he decided to learn swimming along with his friends. He was so scared when he is inside water, and he started learning swimming by imitating his friends. The pair of water wings would help him to stay on the surface, but more, they instilled a sense of confidence in him. He was so keen to learn that he gave up his dislike to go bare-legged to the pool. He disliked it because he was feeling very shy to show his legs, and he overcame it, and slowly and gradually he started feeling comfortable along with his friends in the pool. It was during this time that incident took place in his life. So we'll see what happened in the swimming pool. From his childhood, before that I would like to tell you an incident that happened in his childhood when he was 3 years or so. When he was 3 years or so, his father took him to the California beach, and he realized, and there the author Douglas realized his dislike of water. They both of them were playing in the waves, and during that time what happened is that he fell down in the waves, and he got very frightened by the power of waves, which threw him and swept over him, and he was buried in water. He was out of breath and he was very frightened, and that day onwards he disliked water. He had an aversion towards water. So that was the first incident that happened in his life, that developed an aversion towards water. So he decided to overcome it by joining the YMCA swimming pool. So that is what we find in the first part of this chapter. The Californian incident already developed a fear in his mind and dislike of water. So that is what we can see here. He chose the swimming pool because he found that the swimming pool was so much safer than the river. The past experience with water would keep coming to him and revived his childhood fears. That is, whenever he is inside water, he was not at all comfortable. Slowly he started imitating the children who are there, and he started wearing water wings that made him feel comfortable inside water. Gradually, after many days, he felt himself being comfortable along with his friends there in the pool. So now he has developed a confidence to learn to swim. So it was during that time that mishap happened in his life. We'll see what is the mishap that has happened in his life during that time. So one day something happened in his life. When he reached early in the swimming pool, he was waiting for his friends, and it was during that time somebody came there and dumped him into the water. And this incident had a lasting impression on him. We can see that gradually he was gathering confidence that would paddle him across the water with his water wings. He was watching the other boys and copying them. It was just then he had started feeling comfortable that incident took place. Which is the incident we mentioned about? Not the California beach incident. It was yet another incident that happens later in his life in the swimming pool. The incident is like this. One day he reached the swimming pool early, but as there was no one else, he felt it safer to wait for others to come. So he sat beside the pool and he was waiting for others. He was so afraid to go inside the water,
So that is the reason why he was waiting for his friends. He was also not wearing water wings since his friends did not come. He sat there waiting for his friends. It was during that time a teenager with rippling muscles came over there who was about 18 or so, and he ducked him into the water. That incident we'll see in detail in the next few photographs that I'm going to show you. So we'll see what happens. A big boy came there, and what did he do? A big boy came by, whom the author found to be tough enough, and he picked the author and threw him to the deep end of the pool. He landed in the pool in the same sitting position and got water into his mouth, and he sank to the bottom of the pool. But as he fell into the pool, he was so frightened that he was not completely out of his wits. He was making a strategy in his mind. He had a strategy in his mind to save himself. He thought that as soon as his feet touched the bottom tile, he would sum up all his strength and would make a big leap. Immediately, he would be coming to the surface. He was frightened but kept his mind working and devised a way out, which was to reach the bottom of the pool and then make a big jump. Then he planned that soon he would reach the surface, lie flat on it and paddle to the edge of the pool. Thus he will be able to save himself. He thought that it is a very easy process. Just like a cork, he would be tossed to the surface and then he would lie flat there and then he would paddle to the shore and save himself. That was the strategy that he had in his mind. We'll see whether it will work out or not. Anxiously, very curiously, when the feet touches the bottom tile, he summed up all his strength and he made a big leap so that immediately he would be reaching the top. But things did not turn out as he has planned. It was a long journey to the bottom of the pool and he felt that 9 feet were more like 90. Somehow he gathered all strength and pushed against the bottom of the pool, imagining that he would reach up to the surface in a second, but instead he moved up very slowly. That is why it appeared to him that 9 feet is like 90 feet. He was suffocating. Water was everywhere. He has drunk a lot of water, and because of the suffocation, he felt that his lungs were ready to burst. So he was not able to save himself. He stretched out his hand. He could touch only water, the yellow tinged water everywhere. He was overpowered by fear, reached out as if to grab something, but he could only get his hands on the water. He got suffocated due to the lack of air, could not scream, move his arms desperately, but all his efforts failed, and he once again went to the bottom of the pool. As he reached the top part of the water, only up to his nose came out, just as you see in this picture. Something from underwater was pulling him inside again. So he was not able to work out with his plan. He thought that very soon he'll be able to do it. Now he started losing all his strength. But still he could recall the strategy. An unexplainable terror seized him, since it was not at all working out as he has expected, which could only be understood by sheer experience. His limbs were lifeless. He was not able to move his legs and feet. His legs and arms. The only sign of life that was his heartbeat, the sound of his heart beating. He sang for the 3rd time. He sucked a lot of water and then suddenly all his efforts to save himself stopped. He was relaxed, peaceful, fearless and sleepy. He felt that darkness is filling his eyes because he was thoroughly exhausted because of suffocation and tiredness. He was not able to open his eyes. He was so exhausted that he felt that his end is near. He is dying. So he has almost given up. So 3rd time when he was drowning, he has almost given up. 2nd time also he tried a lot to work out his plan. But that time also the same thing happened. The process of coming up was very slow, and he was not able to do it as he expected. He was not able to lie flat on the surface of the water and to paddle to the shore. Nothing went as he expected. So we'll see what happens there, whether he'll die or anybody will save him. So that is what we have seen in this picture, him drowning. So that incident had a lasting impact on him. Finally, when he opened his eyes, he saw him lying beside the pool, vomiting water. He heard somebody scolding the boy who had pushed him into water. He was upset, and he had fever. He was shivering. He was vomiting. He was wobbly, and for a few days he was thoroughly upset. He was not able to bring control over himself. That has made him develop a strong aversion towards water, and it was growing up in him as he was growing up. Even after many years, this fear was still there, still grabbing him. So he was not able to enjoy any of the games, that is sports that is related to water. He could not go along with his friends to the cascade for bathing, or to the Tayton or Bumping River for fishing, for canoeing, for swimming. All these things, all this fear of water deprived him of the joy of all these water related sports. So he was thoroughly upset, and he decided to overcome this fear somehow. He wanted to do it. He wanted to enjoy it along with his friends. So he was not able to enjoy what his friends were doing. That is, he understood that if he did not overcome this, lifelong this fear will be there in his mind. So somehow he has to overcome this. That is the reason why he decided to overcome his fear of water. And he hired an instructor who used various techniques to teach him swimming. It was after a couple of months that the author could finally swim, but the fear from that incident often came back to him. This incident did not relieve. The instructor taught him bit by bit. He did not teach him all of a sudden, and he told him that you are a perfect swimmer by teaching him bit by bit. But Douglas was not confident. He wanted to try it out in the swimming pool. He tried it out all alone. And when he reached the middle of the pool, Mr. Terror came to frighten him. But he overcame that. He wanted to try it out in the river. So he decided to dive in the river, and he swam across. And when he reached the middle of the river, again Terror came to frighten him. But he overcame it. And he told Mr. Terror, are you trying to frighten me? Here it is. You see how I'm going to do it. And he went forward, and thus he overcame his fear of water. Thus he was very confident that he is very confident that he was able to do it anywhere he can. Anywhere he can. So children, this is what I have to tell you. Where there is a will, there is a way. If you have got a willpower, a firm determination, failure will never overtake you. If your determination to succeed is strong enough. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. That is what Franklin D. Roosevelt said. The experience taught him that death is being at peace, and that fear of death is terrorizing. As Roosevelt knew when he said, all we have to fear is fear itself. He desired to live. Life grew intensively as he had overcome his fear. Thank you.
We have understood this chapter. We have learned a very important lesson from the experience of the narrator here, that there is terror only in the fear of death, as Roosevelt has rightly observed when he said, all we have to fear is fear itself. If we challenge fear with determination and courage, it will fly away, and definitely we'll succeed. And it will never come back. Good luck, children.